Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Brews with Brian, a craft beer review podcast. Craft beer is beer that is brewed in smaller breweries, not these big corporate machine breweries that we're all aware of. Craft beer takes time and patience, and the people that brew this stuff care about the product and give it to us. On today's show, I'm reviewing Light-Hearted Ale from Bell's Brewery, Blind Pirate from Monday Night Brewing, and Peanut Butter Milk Stout from Left Hand Brewing Company. And you can check the show out on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube, and Spotify. So don't forget to tell your friends, like, and share the show. But let's kick this show off. And first up on this week's show is Light-Hearted Ale from Bell's Brewery out of Kalamazoo, Michigan. Light-Hearted Ale has an ABV of 3.7% and a year-round availability. The description from the website says Light-Hearted is aromatic, balanced, and incredibly easy drinking. This low-cal IPA has only 110 calories, yet all the heart. Centennial and Galaxy hops result in citrus and pine aromas, while a variety of specialty malts give Light-Hearted its body and flavor. This beer pours a bright copper color, mostly clear, lightly effervescent, thick, pillowy 2 to 3 fingers head dissipates steadily, but not completely, as a thin layer of velvety foam, thicker around the edges, is left behind. The aroma is where the beer really shines. It's bright. Hoppy aromas come across the nose with whiffs of orange, pine, and some lightly fresh hop notes. Tasting this beer, it's got some light hoppy notes with notes of orange, pine, and a strong cracker malt backbone. It's a really easy drinking pale ale. It's supposed to be. I mean, it's only 3.7% ABV. The feel is very light, crisp, and it's got a smooth finish. There's just a hint of oiliness from the hops. Overall, this is a really well done pale ale, especially since they're going for that low-cal category. I will definitely be picking up more of this, for sure. Sort of like a session ale. If you wanted to drink a lot of these, you could, and be fine with a low ABV. But overall, I'm going to give Light-Hearted Ale from Bell's Brewery 4 stars. And the next beer on this week's show is Blind Pirate from Monday Night Brewing out of Atlanta, Georgia. Blind Pirate has an ABV of 7.4% and a year-round availability. The description from the website says, a juicy IPA. Pirates love citrus fruits almost as much as they love blood. If the phrase, "you are what you eat" is true, then pirates are blood oranges. If the phrase, "you are what you drink" is true, you're about to be in an incredibly delicious, juicy hop bomb of an IPA. We add bits of real blood orange to every beer, so you know it's good. This beer pours a traditional IPA look with a brownish gold body and an orange gold edge, a medium opaque consistency, and a soapy off-white head of compact bubbles that wasn't large to begin with, but that provides some nice rings of lacing around the glass. The aroma is West Coast IPA malt, citrusy and pine heavy, grassy with big grapefruit notes, both the fruit and the peel, not overly nuanced, and honestly a little mild for a IPA. But what is there is quite good, and I'm digging the old school American IPA personality. The taste picks it up a notch and is consistent with the nose. Very malty with a slight note of sweetness, which is needed because the citrus pith, resiny dankness, and bitter grapefruit is pronounced. There's definitely a nice citrus element, but I'm not sure I would have called it a blood orange adjunct, as it's not a dominant player. Grape musk, bready wheat, more pithy grapefruit, herbal hop green. Maybe not groundbreaking, but it's very good. The feel is medium bodied, very well carbonated, smooth and silky, and totally unboozy. I mean, you cannot tell there's any alcohol in this thing. If you're in the mood for a bitter, dank, resiny punch of West Coast malt and grapefruit juice, this is a winner for you. Monday Night makes incredible beer. They're out of Atlanta. I can get most of their stuff at my local craft beer shop, and I try to every chance I see anything new. So definitely try Monday Night out. You won't be disappointed. But overall, I'm going to give Blind Pirate from Monday Night Brewing 4 stars. And the last beer on this week's show is Peanut Butter Milk Stout from Left Hand Brewing Company out of Longmont, Colorado. Peanut Butter Milk Stout has an ABV of 6% and a rotating availability. The description from the website says, rich milk chocolate notes team up with peanut buttery perfection for a delicious dark duo. This beer pours a pitch black body with lighter highlights at the surface, and it's topped with a barely half a finger of creamy, light khaki froth that recedes quickly to a wispy veil, capping the surface along with a thin, creamy ring and a lightly layered, spotty lacing. Aromas offers strong roasted peanuts up front, backed with a slight lactose vanilla creaminess. Very subtle underlying raspberry tones flow between roasty malt into a finish where more defined peanut butter note hint at an appearance. The taste profile muddles together slight notes of roasted peanuts and roasty acidity with even vaguer scents of coffee grounds and cacao husk interspersed throughout, with a lactose creaminess spoiling into the somewhat chunky peanut finish. The mouthfeel features a medium light body, developing a moderate thinness over time, as the mild to moderate spritzy carbonation presents mostly at the front of the palate. The body flattens out noticeably over time and is lifted only slightly by a minor roasty heft in the finish with a dry, semi-watery swallow. This beer reminds me of DeClaw's Sweet Baby Jesus. This is a decent enough, thinner-bodied dark beer with moderate roasted peanut tones that fail to satisfy its more peanut buttery advertising, leaving it more splintered and lacking to me. To me, it just don't cut it. This is probably my least favorite Left Hand Brewing Company beer, but you still need to check them out. They do some great stuff. This one just missed the mark for me. So overall, I'm going to give Peanut Butter Milk Stout from Left Hand Brewing Company 2 stars. And that's going to do it for this week's episode of Brews with Brian. I want to thank everybody for listening. The show continues to grow each and every week. We are adding new states or new listeners across the world every single week. So thank you for that. You can find the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube, and Spotify. So don't forget to tell your friends, like, and share it where you can. If your buddies enjoy drinking craft beer, maybe they'll enjoy me talking about it. But on today's show, I reviewed Lighthearted Ale from Bell's Brewery, Blind Pirate from Monday Night Brewing, and Peanut Butter Milk Stout from Left Hand Brewing Company. I want to give a special shout out to Southern Package, my local craft beer shop that I go to all the time. They're wonderful people, so if you live in Northwest Alabama, you gotta check them out. They'll treat you right, and I just can't say enough nice things about them. But that's going to do it for this week's episode of Brews with Brian, and we'll see you next time.